Hey, it is Thursday morning live and it's St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day. And, I'm not Irish, but they say that on St. Patrick's Day, everybody's got a little bit of Irish in them, right? So I hope that you enjoy the day today. You make it a safe day. And if you're out tonight, make sure you are extra safe. I am excited about this morning's show, though. Thursday mornings, I really just am more and more enjoying Thursday mornings because I'll bring an entrepreneur on. I'll bring somebody on that we can talk about building a business in today's environment, in today's world, and what's that actually like, and what does it entail? So, we're going to spend 15, 20 minutes just talking about that this morning and seeing where the world's at from somebody else's eyes. Here's why I'm excited about our guest this morning, Meg Schmitz with Take the Leap, or Meg Schmitz is the name of her, or you could go to her website at megschmidt.com. But I was introduced to Meg by my good friend Chad. And Chad's been on the show with me a couple of times here over the last several months. And I always tell the story about being a connector, being a great connector, helping other people meet other people, know about other people, and grow with other people. And the first time I ever met him, I had asked him, I needed to get a connection for somebody about something, and I don't even remember what it was. That's how long ago it was. But he went right to his computer, printed out 3 names and numbers, made some phone calls, said, hey, take this guy's call, gave me those names and numbers, and I had made some new connections. And Chad did the same thing with Meg and I. And Meg and I have kicked off a relationship here that we're going to continue this morning a little bit. And I just really enjoy meeting people and seeing how I can bring value to their world. And that's what a little bit of this will be about this morning. So, hey, let me bring Meg in. Get the mouse to work. Hey, Meg, good morning.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, St. Patrick's Day. And you're in Chicago, which, Chicago's kind of a crazy place sometimes with St. Patrick's Day. Aren't you? Oh, you're not living here, are you?
We're splitting our time between Glenview and an apartment there, and then we've also got businesses and property up in Wisconsin. So
Right.
With the pandemic, have spent more time in Wisconsin.
Right. Okay. Little quieter up there?
Wisconsin. Yeah, it's a little bit quieter. We've got a great big prairie property, so we've got a lot of nature that surrounds us. And I got to say, I probably live the best life of anyone I know these days. It's nice to have fresh air all the time.
Nice. Good for you. Hey, so one question I like to ask all my guests on my shows is, in one word, Meg, what best describes you personally and professionally?
There are 2 that jump to mind. One is joyful and the other one is tenacious.
Okay. It's funny. Not too many people talk about being tenacious, and tenacious is really, that's kind of my word. I think I tell that story.
Oh, yeah.
I told that story on your podcast. But why joyful? Where's that come from?
So last year, 2021, I had some pretty big, hairy, audacious goals for my business, and I wasn't getting there.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Say it again?
No, I was going to say you read Good to Great.
Yeah, I did. And so as I was moving through the year, I was not hitting my goals. And the reality of the situation is I don't control people's reaction to the pandemic or to work from home or the hybrid work environment. I just had to say to myself around Thanksgiving, you are not a happy person. You're so driven for this goal and you're not going to make it. Just back off, let the universe do its thing, and get back to joy. Get back to being happy. So, Mike, there are 3 words that really are guiding me this year, and that's joy, fun, and yes. I want to work with people who are fun and positive and looking for yes. I don't want to work with no people. I want to work with yes people.
So, Meg, I have to ask, you had mentioned happiness too. And do you think there's a difference between joy and happiness?
Yeah, I do. Happiness maybe is something that is more external, and joy is something that is internal.
Hmm.
You have to, I think, I don't know, but be wired up for being positive and being a giver, which I am and always have been. It brings me joy to see other people take the leap into something that helps them become more successful and happier. I think happy is a choice. Happy
Hmm.
is a choice. Where are you? What's going on? And how do you embrace that? So I think that happiness is a choice.
So how do you create joy in your life? What or even happiness for that matter? I mean, if happiness is a choice, can I just get up in the morning and, um, and I have my own beliefs on all this, by the way, but I just want to go down this road for a minute because I believe you could get up in the morning, you could make that choice. I'm happy, I'm not happy, but, you know, I think joy is something separate. And that's you're right,
Yeah.
it comes from internal. But
Yeah.
how, what are the actions someone can take if they're not feeling, joyful? Uh, what actions can somebody take?
Well, so this is just based on my own personal experience here, especially over the
Mhm.
last couple of years. And I'm basically an upbeat, positive person, but even a pandemic will get me down. And after a while, day to day, there are things that irritate me or bother me. And so I personally will just walk out of my office and go for a walk with my dogs. It's really restorative for me to get out. And so what I would say for other people is change your environment. Here's something I do now that for women, you'll get this. I don't know about men. I go through my closet. I go through my jewelry box every day. I look at my schedule and I think, who am I going to be talking to? And I incorporate, like I'm interviewing a gal later on today who's part of the Polka Dot Society. So I'm wearing a dress that has polka dots on it. Um, so for me, it's changing up. It's not wearing the same thing. It's changing up my route to work. It's instilling new patterns so that you break the old ones. So if you feel like you're stuck in a rut, find some way to change up your daily habits.
Yeah.
I am a big believer that habits create patterns that create, if you've got the right patterns, will create success. But if you feel like you're stuck, you really need to make changes so that you can get new patterns that get you to a new outcome.
All right. So I got to ask, what's the Polka Dot Society?
Well, I don't know. I'm going to find out later on when I do my interview.
Oh,
It's
that's funny.
a gal who's in Chicago in Tinley Park, and we were supposed to do an interview last week. I'm part of her book tour. We're doing a book launch. I believe it's coming out next week. And so I'm interviewing Doris Birch later on today, and we're going to talk about not only the book launch, but how did she become fabulous? So I
Yeah.
contributed a chapter to her book about don't be invisible, be fabulous. And I talk a lot about that too, getting out of invisibility and into visibility, particularly for those of us, men or women, who tend to hang in the background.
Yeah.
If you have something to say, something on your mind, and you want to step into the light, don't be invisible. Step out
Yeah.
there.
So here's I really want to know when you figure out what the Polka Dot Society is. You have to send me an email or something because I really want to know. But isn't it interesting, and I'm glad you're going to have her on your show because you do a great job. I was on your show and I think you're a great host. What's the name of your podcast? Tell people the name of your podcast.
It is Free Agent with Meg Schmitz, and you can find it on iTunes and other platforms. And I think a lot of people have this notion that they can find freedom, they can find financial freedom. And a lot of people don't realize that you are a free agent. You have choices. You don't need to be an employee of a
Yeah.
company. If you don't want to be stuck, then don't be stuck. And so I'm an advocate of embracing that free agency and making change and choices that are better for your financial future.
So why don't you tell people what you do, Meg? We're a little bit in already. We haven't even talked about that, but go ahead, tell people what you do.
So I, for many years, have been a franchise investor. And after being a franchise owner with one particular concept, Great Clips, for 11 years, I jumped the fence. My degree is in counseling, and I love to help people figure out what lily pad is the next lily pad they should land on. And so I help people, investors and investor groups, determine if franchising is a good investment route, good diversification strategy. And then, like a wealth manager or an executive recruiter, I've got portfolio of companies that I represent. And so I'm the matchmaker. I'm the one that brings the two parties together and help them assess, is franchising the right investment and what franchise is the right business. So that is one of my favorite vocations, really, is doing that placement work in franchising.
Yeah, interesting. And I've never, I don't know a lot about franchising, right? I know that there's a lot of businesses out there that you could franchise.
Yeah.
Here's my two belief systems around franchising. One is, if you buy one, you bought a job, and you have to have multiple to really make any money. And whether those are just fallacies or not, I don't know. But I always remember the movie Blind Spot, where he owned like 85 Taco Bells. And I was like, I remember hearing that in the movie going, man, oh man, maybe I took the wrong path. It just was like one of those fleeting thoughts. I had a client one time, Meg, in Chicago, and I don't know, you might know this guy. They lived in Barrington Hills, but I was in the pool business, and he owned 15 McDonald's. And I think it was back when McDonald's were less than $1 million to buy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you could tell that he owned some business, because back then they were really well off, and you could just tell. Nice guy though. Lyons was his name, his last name. So.
Well, it's interesting what people think about franchising. There's, I would call it head trash about what it is, the bad side about it, and restrictive. And really, for me, I implement elements of franchising on a daily basis in my other businesses that are not franchises. For example, my husband and I have a company. One location is in Schaumburg. Second location we opened a number of years ago in Milton, Wisconsin. Well, we've wanted for a long time to continue to expand this particular business. And so I'm taking elements of franchising, because if you think about a franchise, it started as this one company. There was the core business, and then it was duplicated. Well, once you've duplicated it successfully, then you're looking at replication. Now you're looking at units 3, 4, 5, 7, 13, all from the same formula. So Pete and I are getting ready to open a Twin Cities location of one of our businesses that is not a franchise, but I'm incorporating elements that will make it standardized and predictable, manageable. We know what the revenue streams are. We know what our ROI should look like. And so there are elements that give a lot of structure to we're invested in about 85 businesses. Frankly, we own 10 of them outright. And so we use these guiding principles in order to make sure that we're following a recipe that will deliver a great result to the consumer. And that's across all of our businesses.
Interesting. So what's the business in Schaumburg and Milton?
That one is called Tallgrass Restoration. We do a lot of outdoor work, environmental restoration of prairie, wetland, and woodland properties.
Oh.
You think about buckthorn. We eliminate a lot of buckthorn. We do prescribed burns. The spring season is full of prescribed burns. We do them in the Chicago area, a lot of park districts, as well as corporate campuses. And that's a lot of fun. I'm dressed up today for my Zoom and other virtual interviews. And when I get out of here at the end of the day, I pull on my Wellingtons. I'm out there in the mud, and we go and play with chainsaws and do other fun outdoor work.
Wow, cool. That's interesting. Do you like the franchise model over just an independent business like that?
For me personally, Mike, I have monetized far more successfully with a franchise. Um, and if you look at the statistics, and I'd be happy to share those, but and I heard some the other night, you can put it in your search bar, a success rate of franchises over an independent startup. There are a lot of, my husband in the pandemic, he works in the office right below me. He'll come upstairs and he'll say, why would anyone start a business in a pandemic? Well, there are a lot of great business opportunities, but not every entrepreneur is cut out for the kind of challenges that will make that business monetarily successful. It may be the greatest idea ever, but you have to figure out how to monetize. And so we've got a lot of structure that we build into those independent businesses.
That's like any business. You got to figure out how to monetize. Right?
That's right.
You got to, and I believe it comes down to marketing. I heard a long time ago, I worked for Gary Keller at Keller Williams Real Estate. And Gary used to always say, he said, look, you're a real estate agent, but you're a marketing company. You have to be a marketing company wrapped in, you name the blanket.
That's a fact. Absolutely.
Restaurant, a burn center, whatever it is, right? Hey, I have 3 questions around this. What was the first franchise ever developed? What's the biggest franchise out there today? I mean, like maybe, and I guess if we quantify biggest, I would quantify it from the standpoint, largest name, most recognition. And then the third one, what's up and coming?
Okay. If you look at the franchise model, technically, I think people believe that McDonald's is the first franchise, but historically, you can go back thousands of years. This is not a new idea to start something and then duplicate it and replicate it. So you can historically go back a long way. The biggest name, people always think about food first, because that's just naturally what comes to mind. Franchising is car washes, hotels, food, laundromats. But the world of franchising is so much bigger than that. I'd have to do some research to find out what is technically the biggest. But what's hot right now, and I get asked that all the time, what is hot? Health, fitness, wellness, beauty, education, enrichment. You think about in the last few years how we've pivoted into technology. There's a lot of interesting technology that has helped businesses in franchising take great leaps forward. I've got some placements, Mike, who increased their business 200 to 600% year over year, and they were not in food. 200 to 600% year over year growth. If you look around your home or your office, it's pretty intuitive that a lot of consumer dollars went to home improvement, but they also went to, what have we focused on these last 2 years, is health and wellness.
Right. I still say I should have bought a Jimmy John's when I had the chance.
And people kick themselves a lot for, I missed that one. Or I've had people in the last couple of years say, dodge the bullet on that one. Glad I didn't invest when the pandemic hit. But please, people, come to me and ask me what is working, and not just in the world of franchising. I'm an entrepreneur, investor in, like I said, 80 to 85 different companies is, I think, what we're up to. So I'm seeing what's happening universally, globally, in the world of business development. There's a lot of money to be made, and people should not be afraid of the economy right now or what's happening globally. We're human beings who are alive, and we're consuming. So that's really where you want to put your dollars. Don't kick yourself for what you missed, but invest your money wisely in what is going to stand the test of time.
Same thing I always tell people about real estate, Meg, right? People always say, oh, it's not a good time to invest in real estate. Well, when is a good time? I mean, I've invested when the market's been high, the market's been low. There's been, this political party in office, this political party in office. It makes no difference. I always tell people, I say, look, there's 2 times to plant a tree, 20 years ago and today. You choose. So, you can either grow from where you're at, or just in 3, 5, 10 years from now say, God, I should have done that.
And that's what drives me nuts with people who continue to look back. And you and I talked frankly on our last conversation during the podcast, and people who look in their rear view mirror, people who are looking in the past, are not looking through their windshield. Look forward. Let the past be a guiding force, because I've made some epic mistakes, and you have too, naivete or indiscretion or whatever the stupid epic failure came from. I can't continue to look in the past like that and be afraid, oh my God, I did it once and it took me down. I have to continue to look forward through the windshield, because otherwise, if you're not looking forward, you're going to run into something, and that won't be pretty.
Right. Hey, I had somebody ask this morning, and I love to tell my story, that, and you said, frankly, and I am very transparent and open about it. But what was interesting was that this morning somebody said, hey, how many podcasts have you been on? I said, over 100. They go, over 100? How have you done that? I said, I just asked to get on, and so it's just kind of funny, people's belief systems and the way they think about things. So, hey, Meg, couple quick questions where we're going to wind down here. You mentioned 2 words, and I want to know from you, what are your habits? Okay, because you mentioned daily habits. We were talking about happiness and joy, and so what are your habits that keep you in that joyful state, that happiness place? And then, what do you do for fun? You've mentioned
Okay.
fun.
Well, so for happiness, I am a big believer in wine. It's wine o'clock somewhere. So
Okay.
that, having a little wine every day is a good thing. Habitually, I, on my calendar, block off 3 times during the day. One is for business development. One is lunchtime to sit down with my husband and either together or separately walk the dogs. We each are getting 10,000 steps a day. So exercise is important to me. And then I've got a time blocked off later in the afternoon to do Pilates. Do I do it every day? Not every day, but I have it blocked on my calendar. So every 7 days a week,
Right.
I've got these 3 opportunities for business development, personal interaction, and then exercise. And then wine o'clock. That's the end of the day.
At any 30 on the hour.
Got to be careful about that. Sometimes you can start too early with that. So no day drinking, but
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Hey, you know what? That's funny you said that, because I just saw a post yesterday. Some girl, she put a post out on Instagram or somewhere, said, "Oh, I'm gonna day drink today. Screw it." It was just like that. I was like, that was funny. So, hey, Meg, thanks for being here today. Tell people, if they're interested in franchising, if they're interested in hearing more about you, or, I want to have another conversation with you and hear about the other businesses you have. I didn't realize that. So I always like to hear about people's businesses, because I had asked somebody yesterday, I said, so what do you do? And for your W-2 job? And he goes, why? I go, I just like to know what other people do, because there could be some interest or could spark some idea, or right. So
yeah.
How do people get a hold of you?
Well, I am an open connector. I will have a conversation with anybody. I believe in the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. We're all connected somehow, and people are interesting to me. So you can contact me at meg@megschmitz.com. I would love it if you follow the phone number that's on the screen, 847-302-2601. Send me a text. Tell me that you heard about me from Mike's show, and let's just have a conversation. I love connecting and talking about epic failures, epic successes, finding joy, and taking the leap. Go forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Meg, thanks for being here this morning.
Mike, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
I know you and I got connected by the biggest connector in the world, I think. And I'll always be grateful for him, for the people he's introduced me to in my life. Meg, hang with me backstage for a minute. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. So I'm going to move you out. Hey, everybody. Thanks for being here this morning. And that was our episode with Meg Schmitz. You listen, if you're thinking about franchising, or you just want to get to know somebody, maybe get some ideas around it. The one thing that we didn't talk about, and she kind of alluded to this, was, build your business like a franchise. I'm in the property management business. We're building systems and strategies right now. We're in the Chicago market, but we're building that out like we would be building a franchise model, so that when you have all those systems and all those things in place that you can lean on, that helps your business grow. So take a look at the franchise model. It's not a bad thing to replicate in your own business. Hey, everybody, have a happy St. Patrick's Day today. Be safe. Enjoy yourself. go have some corned beef and cabbage. I know that there's a great place not far from where I'm at that I'm sure will have a line, and I'm going to try and get there later myself. But remember, next Thursday, Multifamily Fundamentals Boot Camp. That is March 24th, starting at 9 a.m. You can go to my Instagram or my website and click on the Linktree bio or the Linktree and go to my bio and register there. So look forward to seeing everybody soon. Thanks again. Have a great day and a good week. We'll be back here next Thursday, everybody.